Have you ever looked at a purchase you just made and had that sinking feeling like, why on earth did I buy that? Well, it turns out most of our financial decisions aren't really our decisions at all. They're actually driven by these powerful, unconscious forces. So let's dive in and unpack the hidden psychology behind your spending.
It's a question we all ask ourselves, right? We make budgets, we set goals, but actually sticking to them can feel like this constant uphill battle. If you've ever felt that way, you are not alone. So what is really going on here?
And here it is, the absolute core of the issue. Our brains are basically running on ancient software. They're perfectly designed for immediate survival. Spotting a predator, finding the next meal, fitting in with the tribe. The problem is that ancient programming, it can be a total disaster when it's dealing with modern things like credit cards and 401ks.
To really get a handle on our behavior, we've got to look at what you could call our financial DNA. This is made up of three key components that pretty much dictate every single dollar we spend: our beliefs, our values, and our habits. So first up, we have values. The best way to think about these is like your internal compass. They're the big picture ideas that you see as fundamentally important in your life. Things like security, freedom, or maybe generosity. They point you in a certain direction.
Next up, we have beliefs. Now, these are the truths that we've built up from all of our life experiences. A belief could be something positive, like hard work always pays off, or it could be something limiting, like I'm just not good with money. These beliefs create the lens through which you see your entire financial world.
And finally, all of this leads to habits. These are the things we do automatically, without even thinking about it. Habits are where our values and beliefs get put into action, usually on complete autopilot.
Okay, so let's see how this all connects in the real world. This chart lays it out perfectly. Let's say your deep down value is that saving is important, but you also have a belief about yourself that says, I'm a rational spender, I can afford small daily treats. Well, what's the resulting habit? Buying that $5 coffee every single day. You see how that works? All of a sudden, your automatic habit is in direct conflict with your core value.
All right, so that's the what, but this naturally brings up the next big question. If these forces are so powerful, where in the world did we even get them from?
Well, it really boils down to three major influences that have been programming us since the day we were born: our family, our peer groups, and the broader culture that we all live in.
Let's start with the big one, the most powerful influence of all: family. Our very first and probably most lasting impressions about money are formed just by watching the people who raise us.
And what's really fascinating is just how early this programming starts. The source author shares his own story here, getting a nickel for candy when he was just 4 years old, earning an allowance by doing chores, and later, in high school, finding a piece of his identity and earning his own money. These small, early moments build the entire foundation for how we handle money as adults.
And get this influence goes way deeper than just what we see. It's actually biological. When we feel affection from our family, our brains release oxytocin, which you've probably heard of as the love hormone. Well, that chemical strengthens our sense of bonding and trust, which makes us subconsciously adopt our family's beliefs as our own. And yep, that includes their beliefs about money.
Okay, let's move on to the next major influence. As we get older, a new force starts to take over: the powerful, undeniable need to fit in with our friends and colleagues.
So here's the thing to remember. That pressure to keep up, it never really goes away. In middle school, it might have been about having the right brand of sneakers. But as adults, it just transforms into having the right car, the right house, or going on the right vacations. The game is the same, but the financial stakes get a whole lot higher.
And finally, let's zoom all the way out to the biggest influence of them all: culture. You can think of culture as the water we're all swimming in. It's this huge set of unwritten rules and norms that guides us, whether we realize it or not.
And this comparison just illustrates the point perfectly. What you wear, and by extension, what you spend your money on, is totally dictated by cultural context. A Hawaiian shirt and puka shells, perfectly normal at a dinner party in Honolulu. But wear that to a business meeting in DC, and you'd be completely out of place. Culture defines what's normal or appropriate, and that directly shapes our spending habits.
Okay, so we've looked at all these powerful forces that are shaping our financial DNA. But here's the good news: we are not stuck. We can learn to move from that unconscious reaction to conscious, intentional choice. And just to show you how high the stakes are, let's look at a quick cautionary tale.
So I want you to meet a young dentist fresh out of school. He's making a great salary, which is awesome, but he is also buried under $400,000 in student loans.
He does the smart thing, sits down with a financial advisor and makes a really solid plan to pay down his debt and start saving. But just 3 days later, 3 days, he walks into a car dealership and the salesperson hits him with the classic line, "You're a successful dentist now. You need a car that matches your professional status." You can just feel that peer and cultural pressure kicking into high gear, can't you?
And he does it. He buys a $65,000 luxury car, one single decision. And it wasn't driven by his financial plan at all. It was driven entirely by that unconscious need to project a certain image.
And the result was immediate and absolutely devastating. That one unconscious purchase completely torched his financial plan before it even had a chance to get off the ground.
So how do we avoid falling into that same trap? Here is a simple but really powerful 4-step plan. First, identify it. What was your single biggest aha moment from everything we just talked about? Next, internalize it. Ask yourself, okay, how can I actually use this insight? Then you have to turn that into action. What is one specific, concrete thing you can do differently? And finally, share it. Seriously, tell a friend what you learned. Talking about it is the #1 way to make it stick.
And that brings me to the very last thing I want to leave you with. It's one simple but incredibly powerful tool. Before your next purchase, big or small, I want you to just pause and ask yourself this $1,000,000 question. Why do I feel I should spend my money on this? Is it a genuine need? Or is it just an echo of your family, your peers, or your culture talking? Answering that one question honestly can change everything.